over. So Coach, we're going to make an opening statement, and then Paul, you and I will follow with some questions here.
Coming off hopefully what is a learning experience at Purdue, I thought our team fought really hard. I thought there was a couple times in the game where, they had us in a tough spot, and I thought we came up with timely baskets in those areas, toughed out some stops in a difficult. They had a difficult post player to try for us to try to nullify, and she was very efficient. But I think the job we did on her was good enough to have a chance to win the game, and I thought that if we did that, we would kind of have a shot down the stretch, and it was probably a little bit tighter than the score reflects, but we never really did. I think we maybe had it to one possession one time in the second half, and we always kind of got it to that 4 or 5 range and couldn't quite make that basket to really maybe tighten them up even more. So I'm happy overall with maybe growth of a more difficult scheme to try to do defensively. We have to grow against what they did to us on offense, and we'll get started on that in about an hour out here.
With that performance, and you've got a lot to look at, to learn from, and you just mentioned, you'll get at it here because you're heading into practice. What are you looking for from them with Michigan State? What do you want them to instantly apply to, okay, we've done this, now you should know better?
Yeah, I think defensively it's going to be another challenge for us, a different challenge. Michigan State's guards are super quick and very athletic, and shooting range that really is going to stretch our defense. They have good post play, but it's different. I mean, Purdue really had a block-to-block power post player. Michigan State's are runners. You have to cover them on the perimeter a little bit more. Maybe long reaches, pretty good jumpers, that kind of thing. So it's a little bit different in there, but that'll still be a challenge for us. And so maybe transitioning from one type of game to another, and how quickly we do that. And then we've got to be better on offense up at Michigan State. They'll be ready to play at home. They've been on the road, and maybe it hasn't gone how they thought it was going to go, and so I know they'll be super motivated to be back home against us. So big challenge, and I think one that's okay for us to have right after Purdue. Let's go try our hand at another really tough foe.
You talked about the game speed for the Purdue game. It's not going to change. It's going to be that fast at Michigan State. How do you feel that your team's going to be able to now adjust to that type of game speed and be able to do the things you're asking?
Well, we've got pretty decent athletes. We're just not real long, and so I think pace-wise we should be able to play. Now they're really, really good, but we can run. They should be just fine. They got to be organized. They got to be talking. Decisions are going to come faster on the defensive end in this game than they did against Purdue, and we've got to try to prep for that in practice. And like I said, we'll get started on that right now. But I think that's something that we need to be good at this year anyway. We do have good runners, good feet, things like that. Let's find spots for us to try to exploit that against opponents as well. So, I think it's one of those things where we have to continue to try to build a team that is opportunistic in those environments. So the Michigan State game, I think, provides another opportunity to play against a team that's really going to stress us in those areas. And maybe also what can we find that helps our offense?
Individually, who were you happiest with, and where do you see some growth still?
I thought Kennedy Colclaw was really good. She had 19 points, I think, on 13 shots. She did a nice job of getting the ball to spots that she's comfortable with and getting things done, and got fouled a lot. I think she's continuing to develop the identity that it's important for her to find looks that she likes. And I think that's been a building process since we got her, that I knew she was going to be an important piece for us getting better as a program, and she has taken steps. And I think the other day at Purdue, I think she hopefully learned even more the importance of her to continue to grow in that manner. How do you continue to find things that you're good at? And the good thing about her is it's not just one thing. She can get you in a number of ways. So her continuing to shoot and develop confidence in other areas, I think is going to be really important. But I thought she was good, and I thought, Bree Furby's line wasn't very good when you look at number-wise, but I thought she was aggressive in a moment where we needed somebody to grab the bull by the horns and see if they could make something happen. And she was one of them that came up with a couple baskets in those important moments. She had a couple tough shots, drove it a couple times and got something done. And I think that I felt like she kind of shook off a little bit of something on her back, and was aggressive again. So I'm happy. Lorelei Roper was really good against a really tough post player. Kind of battled fouls all night, but didn't let up, didn't play like she was doing that. And, that was a challenge. That Kyle is good. She's long. She's physical. And I thought Lorelei did enough to keep us in the game.
You pretty happy with your rotation going into Michigan State? Are you going to maybe throw something different at them, different starting five, just play chess with them?
Well, I can't play chess if I tell you what I'm going to do.
Fair.
So I don't know how to answer that, Paul. That's a great question, and I would flip it right back to checkers if I was going to do something different. So we're trying to play chess, not checkers.
Fair enough. I'll ask that question afterwards.
I'll answer it in a different way. I like the continued development of multiple people, and I do think we needed more people to step forward against Purdue, and we had some that I know didn't play the way they wanted to. They need to continue to grow. That needs to be a learning experience, and I like our depth. Some of that is young depth, so it's up and down, and it's got to learn steady. And so, I think we have enough players in there that understand this game. They need to keep developing.
Coach, we're going to hear from Cece Mays here in a second. How would you assess her development thus far?
I think she's gotten off to a really good start. She's been a constant. I think she's changed the game a lot at the rim in every game we've played, even Purdue, with their length and things like that. So she's physical. She plays really hard. And those are always good traits as a coach. And so I know that she works at it. I know that's important to her. And I think you can see her growth, and probably I think the biggest growth is learning the game. She was physical, aggressive, all those things a year ago. Her decision making has really improved, and I also think if she's getting ready to be up here, I don't think she feels like she probably played good enough the other day, because we went in there to try to be a little closer when the horn went off, and I think all of us look at it and say, what could we have done to be a little bit tighter at the end, and me included. So I think she would probably say that about her performance the other day. But she'll go to work today. She works away from our practices, which is important in development, and I think she needs to continue to do that.
And last one here, obviously Thanksgiving's tomorrow. What is your program going to do to celebrate Thanksgiving while you're still trying to prepare for a very challenging test with Michigan State?
Yeah, we're going to give them the day off, and I think that's important. This thing is it's a grind, and maybe that's something I didn't do as well when I was a younger coach. But we're going to give them a day off, and we've got a lot of families around here, players that are somewhat close that'll help out. We'll cook a little bit at my house if they need something, and but they all have a chance to kind of get away a little bit tomorrow. We'll go back to work Friday, Saturday, and then bus rolls out Saturday afternoon for a tough one up north.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach. And happy Thanksgiving before you head off there.
Same to you.
CC.
How you doing?
I'm good. You're good. I'm going to steal Jason's question first, just to talk about your Thanksgiving plans. How are you going to spend the day? What's the plan for you?
Like Coach said, I think it's important that, have to take a step away from basketball. It's good to just decompress and have a break. So, a lot of us girls on the team, we're really close. So we just all plan to get together, eat some good food, be around family, and just have a good time.
Is that important, the way this team is gelling, that even on Thanksgiving break, you get a chance to get away from everyone just for a day, and you want to get together and enjoy Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I think that's important in our process, and it builds team chemistry. We all gel on the court, but we're really close off the court as well. So I think that's important for our process. It gives us a chance to just really bond and get to know one another even more.
You got a tough test coming up, Michigan State, but before that, assess your performance with Purdue. How do you feel you did, and then what do you take away from that to get better?
Well, I don't try to think about it individually. I try to look at it from a team standpoint. Obviously, we didn't have the outcome that we wanted. But I think that we saw a lot of positive things, even though we had a negative outcome in our view. I think we saw a lot of positive aspects in the game, Defensively, I thought we could have done a little better. Offensively, we could have, obviously knocked down more shots. But I feel like as a team, we grew from that experience, and we want to fix our mistakes for the next game against Michigan State, and just continue to grow and continue to learn.
What do you know about Michigan State? What have you seen so far as you get ready for them?
They're long, they're athletic, they're fast, but I think we're not as long, but we're just as fast and we're just as athletic. I think we can compete with any team. Michigan State's a great team. We watch scout, but I think we can compete, and I think we can possibly come out with the win.
Talking to Coach, you talked about the game speed of the Purdue game. How do you feel in that situation? This team is maybe catching up to that type of game speed because it was a step up in competition. You showed you can play that competition, but that was the first time you've seen that level this season. How do you feel you're adjusting to that type of game speed?
I think in the beginning of the game, obviously it was kind of a shock to some of us. But I think as the game went on, we kind of settled down. Nerves were a little high because, it's a Big Ten team, But I think as the game, progressed, we realized, hey, we can play. We're just as confident. We're just as good. So I think going into this next game, it won't be as much of a surprise. I think we'll be ready for the speed. And, I think we can compete, and I think we can possibly come out with a win,
I'll turn things over to Jason now.
Just one question here, CC. After your first season last year, obviously, exit meetings are something that every team has with the head coach. When you and Coach Kemper sat down last year at the close of last season, what were some of the things that the two of you talked about that he wanted you to improve, that you yourself wanted to improve in the off season, that you worked on in advance of this year?
Well, I'll speak on for myself first. For myself, this summer, I just really wanted to go to work and really just improve, my offensive game. I really wanted to, just become a threat and do whatever Coach needs me to do. But as far as Coach, he just wanted me to go to work this summer, get in good shape. He just wanted me to come back, be the energy person for the team. And, I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. We still have a lot of work to go. It's the beginning of the season. I think the ceiling is high for all of us, but for me personally, I think I just need to continue to be the energy person and continue to push my team in any way that I can and contribute any way that I can so that we can have more wins.
Okay. Thanks, CC.
Of course.
Thanks, CC. Have a great Thanksgiving.
You too.
All right, Paul.
Anybody else? I mean,